Good morning. Day 78 on the trail. Had a decent night's sleep in the shelter. There's one other person in the shelter with me. As you saw, it rained yesterday afternoon and then cleared up. Unfortunately, by then it was too late to make a next stop. So I holed up here. It's 7:05, so pretty good early start. I have about a 14 and change mile day to get to Route 501 in Glasgow. Along the way, I'll have to call for a shuttle ride. I'll be going to Stanimals Hostel for the night, where I have a care package, mail drop. So that'll be a nice soft bed for a night. The day, sun's coming up, skies are fairly clear, so it looks like it's going to be a nice day. It's a little on the cool side. I'm all packed up there and ready to go, which I will do as soon as I close out this clip. And speaking of which, I will catch you further up the trail and bring you all the goodies that I see. It's warm already. I already changed clothes and I've only been on the trail for 20 minutes. It's going to be a hot one today. Trail's been pretty nice. Slow downhill. Not too rocky. So, making good time. Seen a variety of flowers, trilliums, tons of trilliums around here. I tell you, I've never seen so many. Ooh, there were plenty coming down from into Fontana, but here they're all in bloom, so they really stand out nicely. Bunch of star chickweed. All right. Well, trail's good, so I'm going to try to mosey on. Oop, look at all these ferns popping out. Awesome. Yeah, it must be moist up on this mountain. It's definitely cooler temperatures. I'm seeing birches, yellow birches and stuff, so this mountain is approaching the higher elevations further south, climate-wise, and the soil is less gritty with the little pebbles and rocks that a lot of the trail was. So, must be a nice little spot. Very conducive to growing flowers. Some more ferns over here. Look at this. Okay, here's a tree for you. Let's look at the branching. It's alternate branching. All right. The leaves are doubly serrated. As you can see, it's got serrations and then kind of like teeth. I wish I had three hands. Okay. It's kind of got serrations and then a tooth. All right. It's in the birch family. It's called Eastern Hop Hornbeam. It's called that because the fruits kind of look like hops. Distinguishable by having this very thin strips of bark that peel. So peely thin strips of bark. Another name I've seen for it is ironwood. But different field guides call this ironwood, or they call musclewood ironwood. I've tried to saw this stuff. This gets my choice for ironwood. Extremely hardwood. So, eastern hop hornbeam, long stringy bark that's flaking off. 1/4 inch strips, maybe 3/8 tops. So that's a hard one to ID, but generally most all the birches have the doubly serrated leaves. I can't think of any that don't offhand. But yeah, hop hornbeam is in the birch family. Alright. Been seeing a bunch of stuff. Number of chestnuts, young chestnuts. Was talking to a gentleman. We were talking about chestnuts yesterday when he was by the shelter, and he's saying how he's been finding some that have gotten old enough to produce chestnuts. So I thought so, and that'll be good when they do the reintroduction, so that you get a little genetic crosses with the new ones they're putting out. But just about everything green that's not a trillium is a mayapple. This is all mayapple here. Holy cow. And it keeps going down. Like the size of a football field. It just keeps going. Wow. All right, here's some black cherry. I want to show you the fuzz that I've been talking about. First of all, cherries are alternate branched. All right, alternate branching. And if I told you, on the main vein on the bottom of the leaf, it develops a fuzz, a pubescence. That will turn orange as the year goes on, and by the fall it's fully orange. Dead giveaway for black cherry, and of course it's got the cherry smell. Scratch the leaves, the branch, and you get that sickly almond arsenic smell. All right, here's a tree. All right, we're gonna come up. Opposite branching. Okay. All right, now we're gonna look at the leaves. See here, you would not think it was opposite branching, except there's a bud scar right there. So there was a branch there. All right, we'll look at the leaves. Here's the leaf. These are leaflets. Okay. It's a compound leaf, and it's opposite branching. All right. Opposite branching, maple, ash, dogwood. All right. It's not maple because it doesn't have palmate leaves. The only maple that's got a compound leaf is the box elder. All right. But this isn't it. All right. So it's either an ash or a dogwood. I'm going to tell you right now it's an ash, and I'll show you a dogwood to identify if I can find one nearby. But dogwoods don't have compound leaves, so it's an ash. Ashes can be kind of difficult to tell apart. Green, black, rock, white. So the best way to tell them apart for sure is by the seeds, because the way the seeds form is identifiable. Most commons are greens and whites, at least where I live. And the whites have a very whitish bark, but it's kind of interlaced. And I'll see if I can find one. Right now the ashes are doing poorly. They've been suffering for years from the general drought that the East has been having. And then now you've got the emerald ash borer. It's really devastating them. I know the ash borer recently got to my area in New York a few years ago, and virtually all the ashes, you can see the bark falling off of them from the bark beetles, or the ash borers. So anytime you see a dead tree that has opposite branching, chances are it's an ash, because they're just dying out from the, like I said, from drought and from the assault from the bugs. So, but general thing, ash, compound leaves, opposite branching. The only leaves it might look like are hickory leaves, but hickory does not have opposite branches. So, and what I'll do is I'll see if I can find a dogwood and show you a trick to help identify dogwoods. That's the ash of the bark, the ash of the bark, the bark of the ash. All right, it's got distinct ridges. All right. Look what I found in the trail. It's a good 3-footer. He's a beauty. Doesn't seem to be interested in moving. I nudged his tail. Come on, I don't want you to get stepped on by someone. Looks like a black racer, best I can tell. Well, he wasn't interested in moving, so I picked him up and put him to the side of the trail. He was pretty cold. Once I moved him, then he started moving along. But I figured I'd better move him so that nobody steps on him. I almost stepped on him. I wasn't even looking at him at the time. I wasn't looking down. All right, I think I got my climb coming up to High Cock Knob. So I'm gonna have a grind on, and we'll bring you the good stuff. If not, I'll bring you back on top. Here we have black locust. Okay, it has compound leaves. These are leaflets. All right, roundish, oval, I should say, oval leaves. Semblance of thorns. The thorns will go away as the plant gets older. This is like protective while they're growing. But I haven't seen any trunks. It has very distinctive bark. but I don't see any trunks nearby. So, very, very deep, high ridges and deep furrows, all squiggling up and down the tree trunk. Nope, don't see any. But that was black locust. It has a very cross-stringed grain, very sturdy wood, often used for furniture, just because it's so strong, and now more commonly used for fence posts since the chestnut's no longer around. So, alright, let me get going. I get the downhill now. Here's a nice example of a chestnut leaf. Look how long those tooths are. See how they curve inward? Yeah, not all of them, but you get the idea. Azaleas are blooming here. I've been moving on this trail. As you can see, it's pretty dry looking. Like it didn't get any rain last night, or either that or it drained so well. Looks like it's wet. But this whole area looks like a dry area. It's all oaks and hickories. I feel a little guilty. I've been looking at the oaks in the area, and a lot of them are the southern oaks, which I'm not very good at IDing. I know I've reviewed a bunch a few months before I left, but guess what? I forgot. So I gotta do a little homework before I talk to you about oaks. And same is true with the hickories. I gotta brush up on them. Sorry about that, but I figure once I brush up on them, I try collecting a few and doing a side by side like I did with the maples. So we'll get there. Besides, I need to save some trees for further up the trail. Pretty warm today. I tell you, it's at least 75. But the trail since I came down off of High Cock Knobs has been very good trail. Grade's been very low, so all the uphills have been pretty gradual. All right, let me see where I am. I have to make a call from a place called Gunter Ridge to set up a ride to the hostel. So I got to make sure I don't pass it. Should be coming up soon. Okay, from the Gunter Ridge Trail, it's 5.4 miles to Route 501. I called the hostel. They're set to pick me up at 3 o'clock. So I got a boogie because I got 5.5 miles to do in 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I'm going to be on the move. And not going to be able to take as many pictures this afternoon. So, but I will bring you anything awesome. Monster red oak. Look at that puppy. It's 4 feet across. Hi. Just over a mile to go to get across the James River Bridge. Big rock. It's been a hustle. I'm gonna just barely make it, I think. As long as the trail doesn't get a little rougher. Had a few rough spots. Alright, I'm trying to think. There's the James River right there. You can maybe see it through the woods. Big river. So I got to parallel that for about a mile and then shoot across the bridge. All right. Excuse me. Let me get on with it. Okay. James River footbridge. All the locals jumping off the bridge into the river. Longest footbridge on the AT. Big river. Must be deep if they're jumping from this high. Interesting. Alright, you come off the footbridge. And you gotta walk under the railroad tracks. I'm going to the ones on 501, so I got a little further to go. I'm going that way. Alright, I'm here at the parking lot on Route 501. Just crossed the James River footbridge. My ride is here, but we're waiting for one more hiker. We're supposed to be due in about 20 minutes. So, alright. We'll talk to you when we get to the hostel. Okay, remember this? Leaves of 3, let it be. Poison ivy. Alright. Climbing up these tulip poplars. Yellow poplars. Remember yellow poplar? Alright, right at the parking area, there's this tree here. Let's do this the right way. Opposite branching, right? I can't get up to a good branch, but yeah. Opposite branching, maple, ash, or dogwood. It's sort of palmate, but you notice how thin the lobes are? This is silver maple. Now you can see why I thought that those red maples that had thinner lobes were influenced by silver maple. This is silver maple. See how white the back of that is? Alright, and you see the bark. When they get older, that bark gets much more shreddy looking. Those strips. But that's silver maple. Here in the parking lot. Stanimals Hostel.